and welcome to today's lesson, lesson 56 of this B1 course with Perfectly Spoken. Okay, we're getting to the end of the course now. We're going to be, in the next 5 lessons, we're going to be covering some quite complex language, but very interesting. And it will prepare you well for B2 level, which is coming next. Okay, so today's lesson, let's have a look. We are looking at the third conditional. This is a grammar lesson. Okay, and today we will learn how to talk about past situations and their consequences. These are things we cannot change because they are past. And so everything we're talking about is hypothetical. Okay, so these are things we cannot change, and we are using the third conditional. Okay, look back to earlier lessons if you can't remember the 0, the first, and the second conditional, which we have already studied, and I'm sure you're fantastic at those now. So today we're going to move on to a very complex structure, but manageable. And it's very hypothetical. All the ideas are very hypothetical. Okay, and this is the third conditional. So we're going to look at the third conditional, and we're going to practice the form, the meaning, and the use of the third conditional. And as always, we are going to practice speaking. Lots of speaking practice. Okay, and this is very useful when looking at the third conditional. As we will think about later on in the lesson, there are lots and lots of contractions. So when you're speaking, one thing is processing the structure, another thing is listening to somebody else using all those contractions and understanding what they're saying. So we're going to think about that today and start practicing with it. Okay, so let's get cracking. Yeah, let's have a look. What happened? You can see there's a football match, and the boys on the right-hand side do not look very happy. Why don't they look very happy? Because the team played badly and they lost the game. So, using the third conditional, we can say they wouldn't have lost the game if they had played well. Okay, so this is past, hypothetical. And let's think about some questions to help us understand this idea. Did they lose the game? Yes, they did. Did they play well? No, they didn't. Okay, so you can see it's past and it's hypothetical. We cannot change it. Okay, here is another example. What happened? She ate all the ice cream, delicious ice cream, and now then she was sick. She doesn't look very well. So, she wouldn't have been sick if she hadn't eaten all the ice cream. Again, a past situation that we cannot change. Some questions to think about. Did she feel good? No. Did she eat all the ice cream? Yes. Okay, and here is another example. What happened here? Okay, on the left we see there are people camping in the countryside, and on the right hand side a nice big sun. They went camping. It was sunny. So using the third conditional, they wouldn't have gone camping if it hadn't. They wouldn't have gone camping if it had been raining. Was it raining? No. Did they go camping? Yes. Okay, again, a past hypothetical situation. And the last example, what happened here? He drove very fast. he had an accident. So using the third conditional, we can say he wouldn't have had an accident if he had been driving slowly. And again, some questions to think about. Did he have an accident? Yes. Was he driving slowly? No. Okay, so you can see with all of these examples, we are talking about a past situation and we cannot change it. That man was driving fast. It's too late. He had an accident. The weather was sunny. But if it had been raining, they wouldn't have gone camping. Okay, so we're talking about past hypothetical situations. And hopefully you can see the form is very logical, which doesn't always happen in English, so this is good. And let's have a look now at the form. So here are the examples that we just looked at. They wouldn't have lost the game if they had played well. She wouldn't have been sick if she hadn't eaten all the ice cream. They wouldn't have gone camping if it had been raining. He wouldn't have had an accident if he had been driving slowly. Okay, so here in green we can see the pattern that happens. So in half of the sentence, wouldn't have lost, wouldn't have been, wouldn't have gone, wouldn't have had. Okay, all these examples are negative, but you can use it in the positive too. It depends what you're saying. Okay, and then in the next part of the sentence, had played, hadn't eaten, had been raining, had been driving. Okay, so in half of the sentence, we have if and the past perfect, and it can be simple and it can be continuous. Then in the other part of the sentence, we have would, wouldn't, have, and the past participle. Okay, and these clauses are interchangeable. So we can say would, wouldn't have, and the past participle, if, and the past perfect, simple or continuous. So for example, they wouldn't have lost the game if they had played well. If they had played well, comma, they wouldn't have lost the game. They wouldn't have gone camping if it had been raining. If it had been raining, they wouldn't have gone camping. Okay, so I hope you can see the logic in the form. It's confusing, but it's logical. So once you've learned the structure, then you can just put the correct verb into the formula and create the sentence. Okay, so let's have a practice in our first task for today. And here is task 1. I'd like you to complete the sentences to make third conditional sentences. Okay, so pause the recording and off you go. Good luck. Remember, if you have if, what verb form do you need next? And what do you need in the other part of the sentence? Okay, so pause the recording and good luck. Okay, welcome back. How did that go? I hope you can see the patterns and that it is quite logical. Complicated, but logical. So that's good. Okay, let's have a look at the answers together. So number 1, if I had gone to the party, I would have had a good time. Number 2, if she had studied harder, she would have passed the exam. Number 3, they would have gone skiing if it had snowed. Okay, how did you do? I'm sure you did very well, and I'm sure that you're starting to see the logic in the pattern that occurs. Okay, let's practice a little bit further. Let's look at the meaning now. Okay, so we've looked at the form and logic of the form. Now the meaning. What do we mean when we use the third conditional? Okay, we're normally talking about a dream, a criticism, or a regret. It's always something hypothetical that we cannot change. Okay, so for example, if I had gone to the party, I would have had a good time. Did I go to the party? No. And I regret not going. I wanted to go to the party, something happened, and I couldn't go. If she had studied harder, she would have passed the exam. Did she study hard? No. Did she pass the exam? No. This is a criticism. This is something I can imagine a parent saying to their child. If you had studied harder, you would have passed the exam. So the parent who knows best is criticizing the child or the teenager, probably, for what they didn't do. Okay, and the next example. They would have gone skiing if it had snowed. Did they go skiing? No. Did it snow? No. This is a dream. This implies that they wanted to go skiing. They wanted to, but they couldn't go. So they were dreaming, they were imagining going skiing. But unfortunately, they couldn't go because it didn't snow. There wasn't enough snow for them. Okay. So here in task 2A, B, C, and D, I'm going to do the same thing again, give you an example sentence, and then ask you some questions. I want you to think about the answer. Is it yes or no? Just to help you understand the meaning of these third conditional structures. Okay, so let's have a look at 2A first of all. Okay, think about what really happened. Look at the sentence, then answer the questions. If I had played the lottery last week, the numbers I usually choose would have won. Did I play the lottery? Did I win? Were my numbers the right numbers? How do I feel? Okay, so pause the recording and think about how you would answer those questions. If you're studying with somebody, talk about it. Talk together about whether this is a regret, a criticism. It's past, it's hypothetical, so remember that and answer those questions. Okay, pause the recording here. Okay, and here are the answers to the questions. Did I play the lottery? No. Did I win? No. Were my numbers the right numbers? Yes. How do I feel? Annoyed, regretful. I regret not playing the lottery this week. That's annoying. Okay, and this is task 2B. Again, look at the sentence, then answer the questions. If I had gone to university, I would have studied medicine. Did I go to university? Did I study medicine? Did I like the idea of studying medicine? And how do I feel? Okay, again, pause the recording, answer the questions, talk about the questions with a colleague, and let's see if you understand the meaning. Okay, so pause the recording here. Okay, and here are the answers. Did I go to university? No. Did I study medicine? No. Did I like the idea of studying medicine? Yes. And how do I feel? I regret not studying medicine. So now I wish that I had studied medicine, but this is past. I cannot change it. It's the way it is. Okay? Let's move on to 2C. Again, look at the sentence and answer the questions. If I had gone to the party, I would have had a great time. Did I go to the party? Did I have a great time? How do I feel? And again, pause the recording and think about the answers to these questions. Okay? Okay, and here are the answers. Did I go to the party? No. Did I have a great time? No. Well, definitely not at the party because I didn't go. And how do I feel? I feel annoyed, disappointed. I wanted to go to the party, but I didn't go for some reason. Okay, and finally, task 2D. Again, look at the sentence, then answer the questions. If I had had more money when I was younger, I would have travelled around the world. Did I have much money when I was younger? Did I travel around the world? How do I feel? Okay, again, pause the recording, think about the answers to these questions. Okay, and here are the answers. Did I have much money when I was younger? No. Did I travel around the world? No. How do I feel? Annoyed or disappointed. I would have liked to travel around the world. Okay, so can you get the idea of the meaning that this is always something past, we cannot change it, and therefore it is hypothetical. Okay, I hope that you're getting together with the complex form, the complex meaning, and now, this is a tricky part. Now we're going to look at the use. Okay, this is difficult because, as I'm sure you're aware, when a mother tongue English speaker speaks English, all the words go together and it can be difficult to understand what the other person is saying sometimes. So as I was saying earlier, you can think, okay, third conditional, this is the form that I need, and it's quite logical. But then when you're listening to somebody else, what are they saying? There are a lot of contractions which make it very difficult to understand. And that's what we're going to think about now, what we're going to practice. So to do this, to sound natural, we use contractions. So it's very confusing. I had, I'd. I would, I'd. Okay, so you have to just think of the logic. You have to know the structure, and that will help you to understand. Would have, would have, and then the most complicated one, I would have, I'd have. But this is only in spoken English, okay? You would never see that written down like that, but you would hear somebody saying it, I'd have, okay? So we're going to have a practice now with a dictation. So this is task 3. First of all, I'd like you to write down what you hear, and then you are going to write down the complete sentences without contractions. Okay, so I am going to read 3 sentences, and I am going to read them with contractions, so natural speech. So you're going to write down what you hear. Then I'd like you to stop, pause the recording, and write the sentences again, but incomplete, with no contractions. Okay? I hope that makes sense, and good luck. So number 1. If I'd had more time, I'd have helped you more. If I'd had more time, I'd have helped you more. Number 2. If it had been sunny, I'd have gone to the beach. If it had been sunny, I'd have gone to the beach. Number 3. She'd have become an actress if she'd had the opportunity. She'd have become an actress if she'd had the opportunity. Okay, I'm reading those very naturally, so this is really quite challenging. So don't worry if you're finding it difficult. That's totally understandable. But try and write down what I said. Okay, play them back and write them down again. Okay, good luck, and pause the recording, of course, and then we'll have a look together at the sentences with contractions and without contractions. Okay, so rewind, listen again and again and again if you need to, and write the sentences down. Good luck. Okay, welcome back. Let's have a look at the sentences, first of all, with contractions. Okay, oops. Number 1, this is what I said. If I'd had more time, I'd have helped you more. Number 2, if it had been sunny, I'd have gone to the beach. Number 3, she'd have become an actress if she'd had the opportunity. Okay, so those are the sentences with contractions. Okay, let's have a look at them without contractions. What's the complete structure? So number 1, if I had had more time, I would have helped you more. Number 2, if it had been sunny, I would have gone to the beach. Number 3, she would have become an actress if she had had the opportunity. Okay, how did you get on? That was very challenging, but I hope you're getting the idea, and that even if there are a couple of mistakes, you're getting there. Okay, and I'm sure you are, and listen again and again and repeat the exercise. And you, as an English learner, are not expected to speak in this way, but I've given you that dictation because I'd like you to practice understanding a natural English speaker and how we do honestly speak. Okay, it's much more complicated and a little bit confusing. But there we go, the more you practice with it, the easier it will become. Okay? So let's crack on. Okay, let's do some speaking practice now. What would you have done if you had studied something different at university? Okay. If I had studied something different at university, I would have studied to be a vet. I would love to have been a vet and worked with animals. I studied English and I studied science. So those are my specialities and I love them. That's fantastic. But if I had studied something different, I would have studied to be a vet. What about you? What would you have done if you had studied something different at university? Okay, again, I'd like you to pause the recording and talk about it with a colleague, talk about it with your cat, with the wall, and practice speaking naturally using the third conditional. Okay, off you go. Okay, and the next question, what would you have done if you had gone out last weekend? What would I have done, excuse me, if I had gone out last weekend? I think I would have gone to another town. I would have got a train out to another town. But in reality, I stayed at home and I worked. But what would you have done if you had gone out last weekend? Okay, and the last question. What would you have done if you had had more money for your last holiday? Okay, if I had had more money for my last holiday, I would have gone to a hot country. I didn't have much money, so I went back to my home country to see my family, which was wonderful, but it's a bit cold in Britain. So, yes, if I had had more money, I would have gone to a hot country. What would you have done if you had had more money for your last holiday? Again, pause the recording and answer the question. Okay, very good. I hope you got lots of speaking practice there and that you're feeling more confident using the third conditional. As I said before, this is a very complex structure, and honestly, it's getting towards B2. So to begin with this at level B1 is fantastic, and it will give you great preparation for B2 for the next level. Okay, so don't feel worried if you're finding it difficult, if you're still finding it a bit confusing, word, past perfect. It is all very confusing, but with practice, it will become easier and easier. Okay, so we're starting now, and as your English progresses, you will find it easier and easier. Okay, so that is all for today, and in next lesson, which is lesson 57, we will notice different verb patterns. We will learn some different rules for these verb patterns to help us use them, and we will practice identifying which verb pattern to use. Okay, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that you've enjoyed today's lesson and that you're feeling motivated to learn even more. A challenge is good, hey? Okay, well done. And see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.